The equestrian statue of Marcus Aurelius is part of this tradition of equestrian statues that we see amongst the Romans. They're really the ones who started, or we believe who started, and Hadrian adopted various men to assure succession, one of them being Marcus Aurelius, as well as Lucius Verus. They are the first co-rulers that we see in Rome, and out of this, Marcus Aurelius becomes emperor in his own right, and we see this equestrian statue. And this is a massive piece. It's a larger than life size, and it really changes the way that we look at Roman emperors, especially Aurelius, who's famous for his stoicism, having written meditations. So this equestrian statue is there to raise Hadrian above the people. And when we look at it, it's got a couple of interesting features. First of all, that's a really small horse for the size of Marcus Aurelius. And it's not that horses are much smaller at the time. It's primarily that Aurelius is really important because, he's the emperor. It's going to be a big, important issue. So you shrink the horse to make the person riding it seem that much larger than life. It survives primarily because he was mistaken for Constantine. And he's created in parts. Here you can see the pieces of the horse that were brazed together. So you see these lines here, each piece molded individually and then put into place rather than one large mold because it just gets too large, too complicated. Otherwise, the body of Aurelius actually comes off of that mold or can be removed from that mold, as we see during a recent restoration. The gesture is one of oration. So again, he's out there public speaking. That idea of rhetoric as a highlight of intellectual life is just staying with the Romans. But the face is different. When we look at the face, he seems weary, sad, as if the weight of the world is sitting on, very reminiscent of what we saw from the fragmentary head of Senusret III in the Middle Kingdom in Egypt. This idea that the emperor is not living a glamorous life, but rather someone who has to take power, who was chosen rather than choosing to take it, and therefore suffers in some way with the responsibilities that go with it. This goes beyond verism. It's giving a sense of real character and personality. It's a sense of realism that is very common to this period in the High Empire.